Hello and welcome to another setup video. Next to me I have the brand new Alesis Nitro Max kit, and today I'm going to be showing you how to put it all together. So as always, everything we need is in the box apart from one thing. I like to use my trusty butter knife here in order to get all of the boxes open. So let's open this up and start getting everything ready. First two most important boxes to get out is the accessories box, and helpfully buried right at the bottom of the box, the box that says rack on it. So that's the one that we want to get out and get open, and we also want to have the accessories box to one side. So I've taken all of the poles out of the box and I put them into three groups. So all of the poles with feet on are directly in front of me. All of the poles with no feet and just these connection points on them are to the right. And then these poles here, these stands here, these are our cymbal stands, and we're going to be keeping them over onto our right hand side for now. Okay, so taking a look at the poles with the feet on, we're going to lay this out as though we are building the kit in front of us. Okay, so we're going to put them in specific places. So the pole with the three connection points like this is going in front of us to the left up here. The pole with one connection point is going down here to our lower left, and then the connection point with the pole, with two connection points on it is going to the top right like that. Let's move that over a bit. And then the other pole with the one connection point is going over to our right hand side like this. So you should have them laid out in front of you. Doesn't matter which side you put these two on, they're both pretty much the same. And then what we're going to do now is connect in the supporting poles here, these connection poles, between the two connectors on the legs. For this next step, we're going to need to get the accessories box open and one of the Allen keys out. Once you've opened the accessories box, the bag that you're looking for is the one that has all of the warranty information, instructions, cable ties, everything like that. And inside that is another bag with the Allen key in it. I'll just grab that. So it's this little bag here, and in here you've got your drum key, your Allen key, and the two connections for the drum kit brain for attaching that to the kit. So your Allen key obviously looks like this, and now I'm going to use that to loosen these connection points and slide them up to the top of the pole. I'm setting this up for an adult, i.e. me, so I want to get these connection points fairly high up on these legs. But if you are setting them up for a child, you might want to consider setting it up a little bit lower to begin with and then adjusting from there. So I've taken the top connection point all the way to the top of this pole. These two don't matter all that much yet, although I have raised them up because I think I will need them probably around this sort of height. So I'm going to do the same for the leg that has two connection points on it. Going to take this top one up to about the same point as on that other leg because we're going to be connecting a pole between those two connection points. Next, I'm going to grab the pole that has three connection points on it, because that's the pole that's going to be connecting these two connections on the back two legs. Yours may end up looking like mine, where you've got the two connection points right at the top. So what you can do is you can unscrew them and slide them down to create room to put them in those connection points. If you take a look at the connection point on the legs, you'll see that we've got these two little runners, these two little plastic runners that go on the inside. Now if you take a look at the pole, you'll see that we've got two grooves on either side of the pole as well. And that I need to make a slight adjustment here. Stupidly, I put the mount, the drum kit brain on upside down. It doesn't matter. I should have connected the pole into the legs the other way around. This is something I corrected later, but don't make the same mistake as me. Anyway, back to the video. The only thing that you want to make sure is that when you do put it in, that you put it in on the side where the connection points would be facing down, where these screws will be facing down, and then the mounts are on the other side of the pole with the connectors on the left. Because if we do that the other way round, you'll see that if we do that the same way, pointing away from us, these screws are facing upwards. So we want to make sure that they are facing down like that. Now that we've got the back of the frame assembled, I'm going to grab one of the poles that has 2 connection points on it, and I'm going to be attaching that to the connection point that's the second one down on that left-hand side as you're facing the back, and that's going to be connecting in to one of the legs, the one connection point on it. Grabbing the last remaining pole that has 2 connection points on it, I'm going to then attach the frame to the last remaining leg. Before we start adding any more weight to this, we need to make sure that the frame is nice and level, that there's no wobble in the frame anywhere. So we can adjust that by taking our Allen key and going around the legs and leveling things off a bit. Last thing to attach is the short pole here that eventually is going to have our snare drum mounted to it. And so we're going to be putting that to the last connection point that's available here. The end that you want to plug in is the end that you can see through. The end that you can't see through is going to be facing you. Next up, we want to reach into our accessories box and grab the tom mounts. And this is what they'll look like. You should have 4 connection points in front of you that look like this. One of them is going to go into this short pole here that's going to have the snare drum on it. 2 of them are going to go into these connection points here on the back part of the frame. And then 1 will be going on the rightmost connection point here on the right arm to your right hand side. Before you can fit them, you need to have the mount points facing up at the sky. And so the way we do this is if we loosen things off here and then twist, we want to have the mount points on the side away from you, facing away from you, and so have the screw on the bottom like this. Now, as you probably heard there, as I twisted them around, we got some clicking and cracking noises. Don't panic, that's totally normal, that's what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm going to level off these 2 like that, and then I'm going to do the same with this connection point here and this connection point here. Now I'm going to fit the mounts. I find that if you give them a bit of a twist as you push them down, it makes them much easier to slide into place. Now that they're in, we're going to put the cymbal stands in next. So I'm going to do the same thing with these mounts. I'm going to level them out so that the connection point is facing away from me on the side of the pole, and then we'll talk about the next step. Alesis, in their infinite wisdom, have decided to hide one of the cymbal stands at the bottom of the accessories box. So I'm just going to pull this cardboard sleeve out, and underneath it we should find that stand. And here it is. So we have 3 of these in total. So I'm now going to go around and fit them to the connection points. So I need to explain, this is where I differ ever so slightly from the instructions. So the instructions themselves say that you should put the drum module on the leftmost connection, on the leftmost side here, and then the hi-hat stand here on the next connection. Now I do it the other way around, and the reason for that is that I like tucking away the drum kit brain out of the way somewhere where it can't be hit by a drumstick. But not only that, I find that with myself and with my students that we tend to prefer to have the hi-hat over here because we have a little bit more control over where we place it. We move it more comfortably closer or further away from us by moving this leg. So it's completely up to you. You can do it the way that I do it, or you can do the way that the instruction does it. The instructions tell you to do it, but that's the way that I'm going to be doing it here. So you want to grab your cymbal stands, and before you put them on, you're going to want to loosen that off and make them vertical. With those cymbal stands in, the next thing we're going to grab is the box that says 8-inch tom. I'm going to open that up. So you should have 3 tom pads in front of you now. They're all identical, so it doesn't matter what order you put them in on the frame, but we are going to be connecting them to the 2 connection points, 2 mounting points that are up here, and then the 1 mounting point that's here. With these tom pads on now, let's open the box that says 10-inch snare. There's only 1 mount point left, so we're going to attach that to the snare mount that's down here. It's starting to come together now, so next we're going to open the box that says 10-inch cymbal pad. You should have 3 cymbal pads in front of you now, like me. If you turn them upside down, 2 of them will say on the bottom 10-inch cymbal single zone, and then 1 of them will say 10-inch cymbal with choke. So this one goes onto the crash cymbal stand, which is here on that back frame, and then the other 2 will go over on the hi-hat stand here and the ride cymbal stand, which is over here. So let's do that now. You'll see on the stand that there's a little felt. Now that felt goes on the top of the cymbal pad as you put it in. Before you do that, you'll see on your cymbal stand that you've got something that looks like a little shark's fin here. You want to make sure that that is facing away from you, like that, because there's this little groove in the pad. Now that groove will fit exactly over that little shark fin and help to keep that cymbal in place whilst you're thwacking it. So I'm just going to screw that up now and tighten it up. Now it's important here not to over tighten your cymbal pads. You want them to be fairly tight, but not over tightened. So you do want to have a kind of a little bit of wiggle in there, but not too much as well. Right, we're approaching the home straight now. So next we need to open the boxes that say kick pad, kick pedal and hi-hat pedal. So in front of you now you'll have your hi-hat pedal, your kick pad and the kick pedal. So the hi-hat pedal's nice and easy. We're going to put that underneath the hi-hat on the left hand side of the kit. We've got the kick pad which goes in the middle of the drum kit, in between the back of the frame. And then before we can attach the bass drum pedal, a couple of things that we need to do. First of all, we've got the bass here, which are 2 sort of metal poles here, and they'll be kind of loose and flapping about like that. So you can grab hold of it, and I'm trying to do this one-handed, so this probably isn't going to come easy to me. So, yeah, okay. Right, so with that in, they're now securely in those 2 holes. Next up, we're going to put on the beater, which is going to go into this hole here. So we're going to need to grab the drum key, which looks like this. It can be found in the little bag where we got our Allen key from, and we've also got the connectors for the electric brain in here as well. But we want the drum key. We're going to use that to loosen this off, and we're going to put the beater in to that hole there. Right, so that's the beater attached. I always like to leave a little bit of the beater pole just sticking out the bottom of the hole there, so it's not completely flush, but also you don't have a massive amount sticking out the bottom, because the idea is we want to try and get the beater hitting the center of the pad here. Now you may have noticed the way that I put the bass drum pedal around. Now this is based upon advice from Alesis themselves. They say that for their mesh kits that you shouldn't be playing the beater side up against the head, as this can actually damage the pads. So we use the plastic side here up against it. Now I'm going to attach it to the mounting plate here using this clamp here, which can be tightened and loosened here. So I'm just going to do that now. So that's all attached, and you'll see that the beater is lined up pretty close to the center of the pad. It's not exactly at the center, it's a little bit on the low side, but that's absolutely fine. Okay, we're going to unbox the drum module now. Okay, next we're going to grab the cable loom. So we're cracking back into the accessories box, and right at the bottom of the box where you found that cymbal stand should be the loom. And here it is. So I'm going to take the cable tie off of this, let it all drop down. Oh, there's a couple more in here. Even though we've just attached this, I am going to pop the module out again so that we can plug the cable loom into the bottom side of it. You'll see that the loom matches up nice and easily with the bottom of the module. We'll just push that in there. And there, I referred to them a couple of times already, but in that little bag where you found your drum key and your Allen key, there are the little screws that will screw the loom into the drum kit module. With that in, I'm going to fit the module back to the frame. It might be daunting to start off with, but all of the cables are clearly labelled as to where they need to go. So that is Tom 2, and you've got you've got kick here, and there's tom 1. So it's all clearly labelled now, just so you know where everything needs to go. This is hi-hat control, or HH control. This is the kick, and the connection point is here in the side. This is the snare, tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, hi-hat, crash, and the ride. So we can plug all that in now. And while I'm doing this, cable ties are provided in the bag that you will find the instructions and all of the other accessories in. So they give you the cable ties, and I'm going to be using that to tidy up the cables as I go around and plug everything in. Okay, so that's everything plugged in, wired in, ready to go. Last thing is we need to plug in the power adapter. Now you can find that in the accessories box again. It'll probably come out looking like that, because with your bag, depending on where you are in the world, you're going to be presented with a couple of different sockets. Now, because I'm here in the UK, obviously I want the UK adapter, and we put that in, give it a bit of a twist. And so that's plugged in, ready to go. Now the place to plug in the power is on the back of the electric drum kit brain, like there. So plugging it in, right, and that is there, ready to go. Last thing I need to do now is to make sure that all the pads are in the right place so that it's ready to be played. So this is about where I'd have everything for playing. You can see here that everything's on a slight angle tilted towards me, not too an extreme an angle, but also not completely flat either. The pads are fairly close together. We don't want to be reaching too far to hit the various parts of the kit. And you can see here that everything's, you know, the pads aren't too high, and it's all of a fairly low amount. So very, very, very last thing is the chances are that your pads, as they get delivered, will be quite loose like these ones are. Yeah, they're very, very soft to the touch. So if you grab your drum key, then we can go around these tension lugs here and tighten them up. You don't need to be tightening them up a great deal. We're not talking a lot here. Maybe, oh, what am I doing now? I don't know, maybe that's about, I will say, 3/4 of a turn to start off with. And then that should hopefully mean that it's a bit firmer a surface. Yeah, that's much, much better. So you don't want it to be rock solid, but you also don't want to have too much give on it as well. So yeah, there we go. I just need to go around and tighten up the rest of these now. So that's this kit set up and ready to go. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions or thoughts, please leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, as every subscription helps us out a massive amount. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.